Zombie apocalypse.
How's it going, everybody? This is Taba Drabo. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. So I haven't done this in a while, but this is going to be another random thoughts video. In this series, I like to talk about whatever's on my mind, whether it's something interesting in the world, a personal story I want to talk about, or if I just want to rant about something. And for this one, I'm going to be talking about if we are nearing the end of the coronavirus pandemic, because after what's happened lately, I feel like that for some reason, we actually are kind of near the end of it. And I felt like I would really want to talk about this today because I just feel like that after all of what we've been through over the last year, that I feel like everything is finally starting to come together for us to finally enjoy life again as if it was actually normal. So as we all know right now, the CDC just recently recommended that all people that have been vaccinated fully are now no longer have to wear masks at all, whether it's at stores or whether it's just going outside and stuff like that. You know, if you're fully vaccinated and you have both doses, you know, you don't have to worry about wearing those masks anymore. You can just go out and enjoy your life as if it was normal again. And I feel like that's really been the overall precursor as to this thought that I have that we're now right at the very end of this pandemic that pretty much started at the beginning of last year in March. You know, going back to March during this time, you know, obviously, you know, everything was just sort of normal, you know, everybody, you know, was just minding their own business, you know, working with everything that they had to do when it came to work, you know, everything when it came to school, you know, there wasn't this any such dilemma when it came to, you know, buying huge rolls of toilet paper or even having to learn how to work from home or even have to do schooling from home as well. You know, once that event hit in mid-March, you know, and everything just started to really just collapse, everything just really just changed altogether. And obviously, you know, that's what led us to the situation that we were in now for at least the last year and a couple months, where we've all pretty much had to adapt to doing everything from our homes and, you know, just have limited time to go out and just do everything that we love. And dealing with this from a personal perspective, that's something that I've had to deal with a lot. You know, obviously me having to spend most of my last year as a college student online, you know, in the middle of the spring semester last year, like I said, you know, everything was just fine. You know, we were all in our classes, you know, we were taking our stuff in classes, and, you know, there were very few worries about whether or not we would end up making this transition. But once the coronavirus pandemic started, you know, I had to adapt to learning how to be able to take all my classes online. And that's something that I struggled with at first. However, as time rolled on, it got a lot easier. And obviously, as a result, I was able to do well as a result in college. But, you know, it just didn't feel normal whatsoever. And I say that because, as you all know, over the next few months, you know, I had to take school without seeing all my friends in person online. And unfortunately, you know, because of that, it really resulted in less opportunities for me to be able to get out of the house and be able to see all my friends, or even go to the gym at King University, which I had been going to for at least a couple months prior to the pandemic. I had to rely on just going out and walking all the time. And, you know, there's just a lot about life that I was used to doing before the pandemic that has started, that everything just sort of just changed altogether. And as a result, we've all just had to find a way to be able to adapt to the new surroundings that we've had for quite a long time now. But lately, you know, it just feels like that we're starting to get near the end. And I feel like for some reason, you know, it takes a lot of hard work to be able to get to this point. And I'll tell you a few reasons why. Number one, more and more people are obviously getting adapted to wearing masks and social distancing. You know, I feel like that, you know, the overall messaging that we've been having to deal with, you know, when it comes to all of this, more and more people are starting to learn that, hey, if you want this pandemic to end sooner, you gotta learn how to wear those masks and you gotta learn how to social distance. And I know it's not popular with almost everybody, but, you know, obviously that's just something that we've all just had to deal with. And, you know, as time went on, you know, more people that actually did that, the more and more we were able to drive down all those cases. And, you know, obviously it got a lot better. You know, like some of those cases, you know, we were able to get restaurants open, you know, we were able to have in-person dining again. And, you know, obviously, you know, in those situations, I feel like that people wearing masks and social distancing, that helped quite a bit in being able to get at least some of the normal activities back to life. The second reason is because school. You know, obviously, like I said, you know, a lot of the schools nationwide, obviously, we had to switch to online learning as a result. And, you know, some were able to adapt to it well, while others, unfortunately, they struggled. And I know that there are a lot of issues when it comes to public schools outside college, in which students have been struggling with online learning. And unfortunately, that's been a real major problem. And I do know that education is going to be a major issue in the near future, and I feel like that this is really going to cause a lot of consternation in the future when it comes to, how students are going to take their classes from now on. And I say that because, obviously you want to be there in person because, that's the best way to get off your instruction. But now there's going to be a lot more students, that are going to be worried about what's going to happen in the near future. And, some of them might decide that, they're a lot more comfortable with taking classes online. And that's just something that I think is really good to happen a lot more in the near future. I think there's going to be a lot more students that are going to decide to take online courses, stuff like that. But, at the same time, now we're starting to see schools open back up again. And I feel like that, in the near future, that's when we're going to start seeing more students come back to the classes again. Because, like I said, it's been a long time since we've last seen each other in person. And, as long as schools continue to open up again, I feel like that we're going to get a lot better when it comes to having in-person classes again. And I think the chances are getting a lot better that by the fall this year, we might have full in-person classes again. And that, I think, is going to be a really good thing. The third reason, obviously, is because of the vaccines. And obviously, that's real important because, obviously everybody has to take that vaccine. And right now, there's a large chunk of people that are already taking both doses of the vaccine. And that's really a good thing because that means now it's going to help us get a lot closer to heading back to normal life. Although we all know that life is now no longer really going to be the way we knew it. Now, me personally, unfortunately, I have not taken the vaccine yet. I'm still deciding whether or not I should take it. Obviously, I hope to do so in the near future. My only fear is that obviously I have a big fear of needles. I have nothing on the vaccine whatsoever. I just don't like needles in me whatsoever, but I know at some point that I am probably going to have to take it. But, obviously the vaccines are a huge reason why we're now that much closer to the end of this pandemic. And, obviously there's still a huge block of people that are really hesitant still on whether or not they should take the vaccine because, as we all know, they are still confused as to whether or not this thing can really help protect them from the coronavirus. And, that's okay. Obviously some people are really worried that the vaccine are not going to do a whole lot about it. But, I think the vaccines work. Although I haven't taken it yet, I know that there's still a whole bunch of people that said that they've taken both doses of the vaccine and they've still had very few, health-related issues as a result of that. They've been fully vaccinated as a result. My dad has also got both doses of the vaccine and, he's doing just fine, obviously. So I know that for a fact that the vaccines work. So obviously, for those that are still hesitant on taking the vaccine, that's okay. But, just listen to more of the info and, just listen to everybody that has taken it. And obviously, I feel like that will do a lot more to encourage you to go out and actually take that vaccine. And so you can be protected from coronavirus. And hopefully, you can do a lot better with getting the coronavirus pandemic out of the way quicker. So that way we can head back to a normal life soon. Finally, I think really the most important reason as to why I think the coronavirus pandemic is now coming to an end, in my opinion, is because everything's just starting to head back to normal. Obviously, like I just said, if you talk about everything that I've just said in this video today, in-person dining starting to come back, people are now starting to go back to stores without their masks, obviously, as long as they're fully vaccinated. Schools are starting to open back up again, and, everybody's just starting to go out and even enjoy life again. Even go out to a sports event. I know there's been a few sporting events where, they've had full capacity, and that's really starting to happen a lot more as this pandemic starts to draw down. And I really think that, the light is at the end of the tunnel here. I really do believe that everything that's happening right now, we are in that perfect storm of being able to finally get back out there and enjoy life again. Because, the last year and a half, we've all been trapped here, having to learn how to navigate with, having to do stuff online, having to work online, and just having to be able to connect to others while having to deal with having to make sure that we have the Wi-Fi to be able to work with each other. And, it's also not fun because, obviously some also have a workout regimen, and this pandemic really threw them off as well. Some of them have not been so fortunate, while others have been able to try to find an alternative so that way they can be able to have a successful weight loss. Take that from me personally. I was going to the gym at King University for a couple months, and once the pandemic hit, like I said before, I've had to go out to walking every single day just to be able to make sure that I have that successful weight loss regimen. And here I am now, nearly 80 pounds lighter. Obviously, it's really worked out. So, I've really had to learn to navigate that. But, obviously, there's going to be a lot more people starting to go to the gym again as a result, and obviously get back into shape. And, life as a whole, as you all know, the last year, it's just not been normal, as you know. And of course, if you include that with everything else when it comes to, the Black Lives Matter protests and all the other stuff that's been happening as well, it just feels like that, the coronavirus pandemic has really drawn a new reality that, life as we knew it is not going to be the same anymore. And that's just something that I think we've all had to deal with. But the last few weeks, it's just starting to feel like that, it's starting to head back to the way it was before it was March of 2020. And with everything that's starting to go down now, with all the vaccinations and everybody wearing their masks and social distancing and everybody doing their part to make sure that this pandemic comes to an end, I really do feel like life is now starting to come back to normal. And, it may not be that long before we all get the opportunity to go out and be with each other again, be with friends again, and even just get out and enjoy the environment. And, it may not be long before we finally get to go out and actually do a lot more meaningful things in life. And that's just something that I think is just a really good thing because, it's been a long time since we were able to do some normal things in life. And I feel like as this pandemic draws closer to the end, I feel like that obviously we are starting to get very close to being able to enjoy doing all these things again and also just enjoy being with each other as well. Because I know for a fact that, it's been very hard to adapt to life without all the usual friends that you have to be with in person. So yeah, it's really been quite a lot that has happened over the last year. Obviously, like I said before, this pandemic has really caused a major change in the way that we have viewed life as a whole. And it's just really caused us to adapt to all these new things that like online learning and everything else when it comes to wearing masks and also practicing being away from each other. And that's been really hard, but obviously we've all been doing our part, and I just feel like that is now finally paying off. And I just feel like that as a result, this coronavirus pandemic is finally coming to an end much sooner than later, as long as at least we continue to do our part from here on out. So yeah, that's really just mainly what I think obviously on this situation. Again, I'm not much of a politics person, but I just feel like that I want to talk about this because obviously, as we all know, this pandemic has been rough, but hey, we've been doing our part and it is paying off. And I feel like that as long as we all continue to do our part and we get the vaccine soon, hey, it won't be long then before we have a new normal in life, which is obviously to go back outside and just enjoy life again. And trust me, I'm really excited that we get to have that in our lives again because, I just can't wait to be out of the house a lot more than usual soon. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. As always, comment below for future suggestions for my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, challenges, or even random thoughts videos, you name it. Be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to make them. And as always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for this video. Hope you're having another great day. And as always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.